You're live. All right, let's see.
Boom.
All right, now it says starting soon. Let me go ahead and Mr. Producer. Pre and B's are up on the live screen. All right, let's make
There's
sure
so
we're
much Steve.
cooking. There it is right here. The ultimate professionals. Uptober, episode 1. We're here. I mean, listen, guys. You guys loved Logan's appearance so much on Saturday that we just simply had to start a new series in order to incorporate him on the weekly schedule. See, we do what the people want here at the Taylor's Code. We give the people what they need and what they want. And not necessarily always what they want, but what they need and what they need to hear. The truth. Okay? Even though sometimes you guys are kicking and screaming, crying, wishing that it was easier to make money. I don't sugarcoat it. We don't spank you on the butt and say it's okay. No, we say, oh, you better get your shit together, buddy. It ain't gonna be easy to get rich. So, Logan, good to see you. Good to have you here. Our
Good
new
to see you, brother.
series has started. So I'll let you open up with a couple of thoughts real quick about what you've seen with the market, and then and by the way, just so you guys understand, the Ultimate Professionals, this is going to be tailored towards updates on the cryptocurrency market because it's Monday, week open. Figure we just come in, give the juice, give some people some updates on our positioning, on what we're looking at, what we see, so you guys can have an idea as how you should position yourself throughout the week and throughout the rest of this year, because Q4 is going to be bullish.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. Yeah, it was a good time on Saturday. So definitely looking forward to being able to do it a little bit more consistently. And yeah, I mean from this morning and over I know yesterday too, it's been a little bit choppy. I know we were pushing pretty hard for a couple weeks. Ethereum and Bitcoin pretty consistently were pushing up. The meme coins were per usual following suit, but just more aggressively. And I know yesterday and today we've been seeing a little bit of a downturn in the market. I know Ethereum, I think this morning actually slipped back below 2,600.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin, I think, is hovering around 63, 64,000.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's pretty expected. We've been looking at the same resistance lines for the past couple weeks, kind of knowing where these coins are going to run into resistance. We were expecting Brett to hit some resistance around 1 billion before it really pushes through and doesn't come back. So that's pretty much exactly what it's doing right now, pretty much what we were expecting. Um, I thought the one really interesting thing from the pod we were watching this morning or from the live stream was they were showing the October from 2016 and from 2020, so the last Bitcoin halving years.
Right.
And they're basically saying, October, it's more than a meme. It's a real deal. And the moves in 2016, 2020 October were just ridiculous. And leading into it, it was chopping the same that it is now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going according to plan,
Right.
in
And
my
so
opinion.
what Logan's referring to is the fact that we're essentially right on schedule as where we should be on a Bitcoin halving year. So every 4 years, I'll give some context to the viewers. Every 4 years, Bitcoin has a halving year. So what does that mean? A Bitcoin halving year means that the amount of tokens that you get as a Bitcoin miner for whenever you complete a block on the blockchain, it halves every 4 years. So you get half the prize or half the payment for completing a block. And so these years where Bitcoin goes through these halvings, we're right on schedule where you'll see chopping throughout the middle of the year towards Q3 into Q4. And then in Q4 is whenever we see the rip for Bitcoin. And it's always right after the election, okay, presidential election in November. And it's always in Q4 that Bitcoin starts pumping, right? So 2016 was a halving year, happened. 2020 was a halving year, same thing happened. 2024, again, halving year, and the same exact thing is happening as did in 2016 and 2020. So we have data, we have history to back up the thesis and the hypothesis as to what's going to happen in Q4. And this is why people who understand and study markets actually have an advantage, because they have data, they have analysis that they can rely upon that's actually going to give them a good outcome or a high probability of actually being correct towards the move in Q4 as opposed to being incorrect, right? So, but no, that's a great point. So I'm gonna pull up a chart because I want to take a look at Bitcoin on the monthly time frame just to give people an idea as to what we're looking at here in September and then what we're gonna see in October. But you feel free to comment while I pull this up.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been seeing too much change really since we talked a lot on Saturday. I mean, it's kind of what we've been expecting. I was expecting a pullback. I think right now is a time where with how grim it's been for the past 6 months, I think a lot of people kind of have cold feet in the market. They've been experiencing a lot of trauma.
Hmm.
um, really pumped up pretty hard in March. I think a lot of people were buying in off excitement, myself included. I was definitely loading up some coins in March. And a few of those bags, I still am down on. And I think that from the point we were talking about on Saturday, making sure that you're investing money that you can afford to not have,
Hmm.
invest in money that you can afford to lose is so important for times like this where you experience a little bit of a pullback before exponential growth is coming and you don't have to panic and sell your bag to try and get your rent money out of the market. You can
Right.
just leave it in there, have confidence that this is normal, that this is expected. And honestly, this is a great time to load up even more. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Yesterday I bought some more. Today I'm going to be buying some more and just prepping for the inevitable Uptober rocket ship that's it's coming in a few days.
Yeah. And so, again, buying more is the key point. So, when you're in a bull market, pullbacks are for buying. Okay. And this is the psychology behind investing and trading, why it's so difficult is because it's so easy to get into the habit of when you see red, you sell because you panic. And whenever you see green, you buy because you're excited and you think you're missing out on all the pumping, right? The problem is, okay, that people have is that it should be the opposite. Because whenever your bags are pumping and they're all green, that's whenever you should be looking to sell if it's the time to sell. If things are red and things are pulling back, that's when you buy so you can DCA and get a better price on your bag. So that's exactly what you should be doing. So whenever you watch these charts, okay, and you see right now Bitcoin's down 3% on the day, and then on the right hand side you see Ethereum's down 2%, Pepe's down 4.2%, Brett's down 5.7%, Andy down 14%, Wolf down 10%, Turbo down 5%, right? So you see these coins that are pulling back right now. And a lot of people get nervous, right? Because they bought it whenever it was pumping. Now it's starting to dump. They're thinking, oh my God, I missed it. Okay, I gotta get out. I gotta get out. Next thing you know, you end up taking an L just because you got scared on the way back down, just because it was a 10% move to the downside, not remembering that it was a 30%, 40%, 2x, 3x on to the upside, right? Whenever it was moving up.
Yeah, and I think some people forget too that even in an uptrend, like people, I know Crash has talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
People expect a coin to just go up forever, just every single day be green, 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 green for months straight. You have to remember to pay attention to what type of a market it is right now, whether it's, and obviously right now it's a bull market. We finally had the reversal a few weeks ago. We're experiencing higher highs, higher lows than previously. So it's a confirmed uptrend across the market with all the coins that we're currently in. Don't be paying attention to the day-to-day moves, panicking, wondering if you made a good decision, if it's time to get out, if the bull market's over. One day isn't going to make a shift in the market. One
Exactly.
day isn't going to determine what the cycle is going to do here moving forward. No coin is going to continue to go up in every single day all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Pullbacks are normal on the way up. So
Mm-hmm. So let's take a look at Bitcoin right now, right? So this is interesting. So to the left here in 2021, this was the last end of the bull market, bull run in the last 4 year cycle was in 2021. So you
are
actually
you
had a
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Are
yeah
you sharing your screen? You want me to pull up the stream?
yeah. Pull up Bitcoin. I'm on Pull up the stream just so you can see it. Yep.
Okay.
So right now I have Bitcoin pulled up on the monthly time frame, and so you see in the last bull run, the last 4 year cycle in 2021 when everything popped off, you actually had a double top essentially. Okay, so in March, you had a massive candle on the monthly. So this is the monthly time frame. So each candle signifies 1 month difference in time. Okay, so we started the month in March 2021 at about $45,000, and we ended March at about 58,000, 59,000, which is a massive move. Okay. So that was the first top. Bang. You come back down in May. So this was April. This candle was barely any movement. May, you dump. Boom. You pump again up until October. Okay. right? So keep in mind, October. All right. Big, huge candle in October. Okay. So now we come back. Here's the bear market. You come all the way down in 2022. Then we start pumping again. Look at September. Okay. September was green. What do we do in October? Pump. Boom. Okay. Now you come back up, and now we get up to this range where we're at now in 2024. All right. Here's September. September's green. Okay. What did we see last October? Huge pump. What did we see last October? Huge pump. Massive candle. Okay. So what do you think? Just like every other halving year, just like in the other bull markets, what's going to happen in October? Well, more than likely, you're going to get a fucking big candle to shoot up. Okay. So right now, if you're trying to get positions in the market, if I were you, right, again, you make your own decisions, I would be positioning right now that the market's actually down on the last day of the month, right, and actually get your bags in, deploy, and October throughout the rest of this Q4 is historically massively bullish, right? So let's take a look at other previous Octobers. The last bull, what was it, 2016, 2020? 2020 was the last halving year. So let's look at November, October. See, October's green, right? So October always seems to be green. Not always, but look, boom, October, green. Let's see, when was the last one? 2016. This one doesn't have the data that goes back far enough. But the point is that historically, the data says that October is bullish, okay? And so that's what you're going to get this halving year. So you're going to get a bullish green candle on the monthly time frame for Bitcoin, and that's what you want. So if Bitcoin's pulling up, if Bitcoin's moving up, Ethereum's going up, and guess what? All the beta plays are going up, okay? Do you have anything to comment on that, Bauer?
No, not too much. I mean, I think we've been waiting for Bitcoin price discovery since the beginning of the year. You know, that's, for anyone who doesn't know, that's kind of the play that we've been waiting on this entire time, is waiting for Bitcoin to go into price discovery. Whenever it finally does discover a new all-time high, it's pumping higher and higher, heading towards 80, 90, $100,000. Typically, whenever that happens, it starts to create a lot of selling pressure, because 90 to 95% of the Bitcoin holders are currently in profit. Mm-hmm. And whenever you have that many of the holders in a position of profit, creates a ton of selling pressure, because obviously people get cold feet pretty easily and they start to panic. They're like, oh, I'm up some bread. Let me go ahead and get out of this. And whenever they're rotating out of Bitcoin, where do they tend to go next? They tend to go into Ethereum. Ethereum gets the green light. And then you have all of these people who have wallets with 1, 2, 3 Ethereum in it. Whenever they go to then put those Ethereum tokens into meme coins that are on the Ethereum network, say they have a wallet that just has 2 Ethereum in it. Mm-hmm. Whenever that money gets invested into a Pepe or an Andy or a Landwolf, instead of $6,000 going into the coin for 2 tokens, now it's $12,000 or $15,000 or $20,000, even if ETH goes to 10 grand. Mm-hmm. So just for anybody who hasn't been following along with the messages in the Taylor's code, with kind of what the whole point of what we're doing, what we're waiting for is, that's really the big picture. So yeah, we need Bitcoin to put in an old meat stick.
Yeah, good old meat stick in October, put us into price discovery, huh? That'd be nice. Nice little fat meat stick.
Give it the green light.
And so one last thing I want to mention with Bitcoin as well, because some people are bearish right here for Bitcoin because they see that it's been and it is around the previous cycle all-time highs. But I want to make a note here and look at the difference at how these structures are playing out. So Bitcoin in 2021, right, when you had this double top, okay, notice how the top was very quick, okay? And you're going to see this with tops. Tops happen fast. You top, you're there for just a little bit, and then boom, you're back down and you're dumping again, okay? That's a top. So a top goes quickly. So you see these green candles, right? You shoot up, boom, 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 boom. You hit the top, okay, in April, okay? And then bang, you dump, okay? Then you do a double top. So then you came back up, pump, 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 pump. You hit the top, 1 month, bang, you're gone again. And then you're back down, okay? So tops happen very quickly. Here's the difference at this price range that we're doing right now. we're ranging in this price range. We're ranging between 50,000, 55,000, 60,000, and 70 to 72,000. Okay. All right. We topped out about 71, 72,000. So this is a range that's playing out. Okay. And a range that is moving to the downside. So it's taking a staircase down, which Bitcoin has been doing in this 6 month, 7 month range, like right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 month range now. What it's doing is this is a bullish pattern. So it's a channel, it's a range that's moving downwards, okay? And whenever these channels that move slowly to the downside as they're ranging, they're bullish and they typically resolve to the upside. So this right here does not look the same, right? This here does not look the same as this or this. And that's why we say, okay, well, that's not a top, right? Bitcoin didn't top. If Bitcoin topped, it would have shot up and bang, we would have been already back down, and we would have been down to 40,000, 44,000, down to 30,000. We would have been gone, right? This is not a top. This is Bitcoin preparing to make a huge move to the upside. Okay? It's just building up pressure. It's just building up momentum. It's going to go ahead and reaccumulate over this range, and then bang, they're going to shoot the price up higher. Okay? So that's why there's a difference between the tops and what this range is doing right now. So that's why we're bullish. So now if we go to something like Pepe, and we want to do something like Pepe on the daily time frame, just to give you guys a quick update.
And you're an artist.
What's that? You like that?
I think I'm a bit behind. Do you know what the delay is on the stream?
Should be 10 or 15 seconds, something like that. Yeah. So right now I'm on Pepe chart. So let me know whenever you see Pepe pop up. Oh yeah, it should be now.
Yep, I see it.
Beautiful. So Pepe, right? Same thing. We're getting this little move down, right? On the daily time frame, it's tiny. But this is what I'm saying is you got to pay attention to these charts and pay attention to the positioning, because if you're looking for an entry, now is whenever you want to start looking to make an entry for something like Pepe, something like Brett, something like Andy Wolf, because you're seeing some downside right now. So you're seeing them pop down a little bit. Same thing with Brett, okay, getting a little heavier. Andy made a bigger stick to the downside. Same thing with Wolf. And the reason Wolf and Andy had bigger moves to the downside than Pepe or Brett is because they're a lower market cap coin. So again, things that are more volatile are going to be more volatile in both directions. They're going to be more volatile to the downside and more volatile to the upside. So that's why you need to be able to stomach these 13, 15% moves. But when you have some perspective, you realize, oh, well, I mean, if you bought here like a hero and you buy the bottoms right here, then even whenever you make this little move right here to the downside, you're not losing your mind. It's not like you're losing a ton of money right there. But what you want to start to do is say, okay, where can I buy in this little range around here before we shoot back up, right? So now is whenever you want to try to get some DCA going if you're at a higher price of entry, or you want to start actually deploying into something like Andy or Landwolf right now because you're seeing some of that 15, 20% pullbacks. Same thing with Andy. Yep. So those are just a couple quick things I want to touch on just to make sure that everybody understands that this is when you want to look to buy. You look to buy when you're seeing red and people aren't super, super, super excited just blasting into a project and you're just buying the top like a goofy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's important too to stick to the belief that you have in projects based off of research that you've been doing, and that you're actually willing to buy in whenever it is in a downtrend, or not even a downtrend, but a down day, and there's a little bit of a pullback in the market. Because we've been talking about these coins the last few weeks, they've been doing really well, and there's probably a lot of people who have been saying, "Oh, I want to get in, but it's going up and up and up, and I don't want to ape the top. I don't want to get in while it's but they've been waiting for a pullback, but then the pullback actually happens." And then they think that the uptrend is coming to an end, or they don't believe in it anymore. They're like, "Oh, it's down so much today. Is it going to come back?" And then they get cold feet to actually get. I mean, they're literally being given the opportunity they were waiting for,
exactly,
and not taking advantage, if that makes sense. So, make sure that if you have something you believe in, you've been waiting to get a buying opportunity to jump on board. Take advantage. Don't get cold feet because it's a down day. You see some red.
Exactly. Yeah. And you look at the full perspective of what's going on here. It's one red day, but look at all the green, all the upside that you had in the last 2 weeks, right? It's not going to all be green every single day forever. Look at this. This was all the upside that you had from the bottom. And then all you had is this little candle down, right? So again, look at this as a buying opportunity. Don't lose your conviction. Don't lose your confidence in the narrative. If you're a big dog, if you understand where things are going to be at in a couple of months, you're not going to let a daily candle ruin your day just because you have some downside in your portfolio. That's how that shit happens. That's how this shit works. And you should be excited for things like that, because what it's going to do is it's going to make other holders with weak hands start to jeet their positions, start to sell their bags too early. And it gives somebody like you who's competent, somebody who's paying attention to the charts and understands what the narrative is for the long term, it's going to give you the opportunity to actually get in with another nice entry, or at least have a nice entry that you can have a lot of upside to. So you have to realize that the only way that these markets work and they become so profitable for people is that they are volatile, and they do make people afraid, and they do make people sell early, and they do make people buy the tops because they're excited whenever they see a pump. That's what gives somebody who's competent and has control of their emotions the advantage in the long term, because they understand buy red, sell green, not vice versa.
Yep. Yeah, and I think what you said about keeping the long-term vision in front of you is it's so important, because I mean, what Pepe over the last 24 has slipped from, I think it got up to just about 5 billion market cap. Now it's down 4.5 bill, a little bit over 4.5 billion. So you see a move like that where it slips 10%. And if you're visualizing and you're expecting Pepe to go to 50 billion this cycle, you're not going to get cold feet when it slips from 5 billion to 4.5 billion,
Right.
because you know there's still a 10x at least on the table. All you see is an opportunity, like you said. It's an opportunity to buy more, improve your position, and hold on.
Exactly.
So yeah, if you're expecting these coins to move like we are, you're not going to care about these little dips. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't at all. Again, look at Pepe. You see this little downside, but look at all the upside that you had from the bottom, right? If you're paying attention, you're buying where you need to be buying, and you're paying attention inside the Taylor's code, right? You're getting these positions right here. You're getting this position right here, right? And then when you have this tiny little candle to the downside, you don't freak out, because that's a part of that's how you pump. You can't have only green every single day. So you take a look at a couple of green candles right here, right? You see, oh, we're pumping, but then you get these red down, right? But then look at what the next move does. Look at these drawings, are fucking atrocious. But you get all these but you get all that upside. You get that massive pump up to whatever it went to, 7 billion, right? So it's not going to be straight shots to the top every single time. No, you're going to get bang, boom, bang. You're going to get volatility. Your shit's going to go up and down. But that's how you reload. That's how you get your positioning in. That's bull markets. Pullbacks are for buying, right? So yeah, again, like you get this red, green, some red, green, some red, green, some red, green, boom. Right? It's going to happen. You're going to have pullbacks along the way to getting to your final destination. But if you're positioned correctly and you understand where you're going to be topping, as long as you can sell right up in here somewhere. If you bought, hold on, let me delete that one. If you bought, oh, I see now. If you bought down here, right? You can make a mistake and sell a little bit late at the top, or sell a little bit early at the top. You still made a shit ton of money. That's fine. You don't need to be perfect every single time. You just need to be in the relative area. You need to be relatively buying in the low and relatively selling at the high. If you can do that, you're going to make a shit ton of money. It's as simple as that. So, cool. Well, it's good to see those positions real quick. Brett, still trying to get through that $1 billion market cap mark. Andy's down 13%. So, Andy, I would say, is a good buy today. Same thing with Wolf. And yeah, outside of that, tomorrow is tomorrow October?
Yeah, it's October 1st.
So yeah, I mean, as long as Bitcoin is closing the monthly green, which it will, it's not gonna dump down today. But as long as we can finish this right here green for October, or for September, October, we should put in a nice meat stick, and then we're off to the races. Q4 is going to be fucking bullish, and then you're going to see these boys printing bags all quarter four. But I would argue that your last chance to get a nice position before we really start to see this bull run in full effect is going to be within this next week. We're definitely hitting the bottom for Q4 within the first week of October. And outside of that, it's pretty much going to be up from there. So if you're not deployed yet, if you're not fully deployed, if you're looking to get positions into any of these plays, you should be looking to do that either today, tomorrow, or by the end of this week. Would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Especially we got CZ back on the sticks. So once he wins some liquidity.
When CZ starts to bid, you're gonna see the boys pumping. We got the secret ingredient back into the markets.
Yeah, and I think too, I mean, with the way that elections have been over the past two elections, there's just been so much ridiculous shit that's happened. There's just these big events, these big unexpected things that happen to just try and distract the masses from what's really going on during the election.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously, crypto's been a pretty big talking point, not the biggest by any means, but it's definitely been a topic of discussion for this upcoming election.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever it comes to trying to swing, especially a lot of the younger voters, I don't know for certain. I haven't given it too much thought, but with us heading into the election here in a couple months, I wouldn't be surprised if something dramatic comes out regarding the crypto market that's going to try and pull a lot of voters in one direction or the other. I don't know what the move is going to be. I don't know what's going to happen, but I got a feeling that something dramatic is going to be happening to try and swing voters towards one party or the other regarding crypto.
Yep.
Because it's a lot of younger voters. They know a lot of younger men, especially. That's a huge talking point for them. It's something that can really swing a lot of votes. And if that shit happens, by the time you hear about it, by the time it gets announced, people on the backside, they already know what's going on. They already heard about it before it gets publicized. You want to be in your positions and be in the market before the news comes out.
Absolutely. And then the last thing I just want to point out real quick before we hop off, because it's just supposed to give some of the guys an update. So if you can see, you'll be able to see it on the screen here in a second bar, but I drew the range that Bitcoin's in right now. So you see that?
Yep.
So now that you see the bigger scope, the last double top that we had in the last 4-year cycle in 2021, you see how different the topping pattern looks than the pattern that we're in right now. You see how it's just literally bang, you top, you dump real quick, right? So you top, you dump, you create a shoulder. So you create the head, you dump, you create the shoulder, and then you roll over. Same thing with the second top. You create the head, create the shoulder, and then you dump, right? This range that we're in right now, this is not a top. It does not look like a top. It didn't behave like a top. We've been ranging in this channel right here for the last 7 months, okay? This range is not going to roll over like these tops did. This range, when it resolves, because it's a channel towards the downside, so it's channeling down, right? When it does resolve, this typically resolves to the upside. This is a bullish pattern. This is a bullish range. And when it does resolve to the upside, we are going to get pumping. We're going to get this to go. Once it does get out of this range, bang, up into the fucking stars, because it's going to go to, because if the last cycle, Bitcoin topped at about 65, 68,000, 69,000, you don't think Bitcoin's going to do at least a 2x of what it did the last 4-year cycle? So even if Bitcoin does a 2x, we're going to $140,000 Bitcoin. Okay. Now, arguably, it could go much higher, right? It could go to 200,000, but we'll see. So the point is if we can get another 2x out of Bitcoin, which is not out of the realm of possibility at all, Ethereum, let's say we get a 4x out of Ethereum, bang, Ethereum's at $10,000. If Ethereum gets to $10,000, what the fuck do you think is going to happen to Pepe, Brett, Andy, Wolf? They're going to blow the fuck up. So we're just waiting for Bitcoin to resolve this range, okay? And that's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and I mean the last thought I'll throw out there is I know we talked about this a little bit the last stream, but whenever people hear Bitcoin going to 140,000, you hear Ethereum going to 10,000. sounds unrealistic. It's like, yeah, right. Yeah, it
Right.
sounds like a wishful thinking. But then whenever you look at the cycle from 2020 and you see, I'm looking at the chart right now, Ethereum, June, July, summer of 2020 is at $300, 250 to $300 ETH price.
Uh-huh.
And then by the summer of 2021, pumped all the way up to 4,000.
Yep.
So back in 2020 through 2021, Q3 and 4 of 2020 into Q1, halfway through Q2 2021, ETH did a 20x.
Nuts.
It's the second largest market cap coin in the market. And so I think that from that chart you were just showing, I think you're exactly right. I think Bitcoin's showing very clearly that it's not done yet.
Right.
That double top, like you showed it multiple times on different charts, it's done it every single time when it is a true top. It double tops like that and then rolls over and rolls over aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
But this time it's shown, it's not done.
Yeah,
So
it's not rolling over. It's literally not. And I'm showing on the
fucking shit's
yeah,
refusing to lose.
yeah, we're gonna pump. We're gonna pump. So in March, in the last cycle, Bitcoin got all the way down to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, right? That was last cycle. So last cycle, even if you just want to go to, but that was COVID. Let's just call it, let's say 6,000, right? It pumped all the way. It did a 10x. 6,000. Well, it went up to 63,000, the first top, and then the second top was at 68,000. Bitcoin did a 6x last cycle. So a 2x to 140, 150,000 is not outrageous at all. Honestly, I mean, you wouldn't be out of your mind to say I'm looking for a 3x on Bitcoin from last cycle's all-time high. So you understand it's not, or from the cycle's all-time high. It's just not out of the realm of possibility. It's just not at all. So, and that's what happens
Yeah.
over time. Inflation kicks in. There's more money printing. Assets over time always inflate as long as it's desirable, which Bitcoin is. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time for it to go into price discovery again. It's not a secret that markets always move up and to the right over a long enough period of time. So the
That's
advantage, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I'm glad you said that because that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is you think about for Bitcoin to do a 2x now, how much more capital it takes to make that kind of a move happen. But you're exactly right. So yeah, think about how much more money's been printed since the last cycle. Think about how much less for every dollar that you have goes just in the general markets. It's the same thing for the crypto markets. It takes a lot more money to make these coins move now, but
Right.
there's so much more money out there. There's so much more money floating around in the system that has the ability to go in. So yeah, it's not out of the question at all. I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm liking it. I'm loving where we're at here, Harris. We're gonna fucking cook. Like I said, if you're not inside the Taylor's code already, obviously you're gonna miss out on the actual positioning, the moves, the plays that we're making, when to buy, when to get out, just to know what we're doing. But we just want to give the audience, the people out there that are watching on YouTube, an idea of where we're gonna be at bigger picture long term. I mean, it's just gonna resolve to the upside. The secret is the people who actually get the generational wealth, the people who actually get rich off of this, are the ones who understand when the downside is going to come. Okay. Anybody can figure out that upside is going to come eventually on assets. But when do you know how to sell? Do you know when to sell? Do you know how to sell? That's the secret. That's the shit that you need to be super profitable.
Yep. And I think good last thought for me at least is if you would have put $100 into Andy or $100 into Landwolf based off the plays that you were calling out in the Taylor's Code weeks ago, you would have made enough to pay for your membership for the next 3 years off of $100 investment in one of these coins just a couple weeks ago. So
Exactly.
if you don't got $15 to spend on something like that, what the fuck are you investing in crypto for?
Yeah, it's absolutely 1000%. There's literally no reason to even be investing into the cryptocurrency market if you can't find a group of individuals that you can go to war with for $15 a month. It just doesn't even make sense. Like, clearly, you're not into the idea of investing because you don't think it's worthwhile to invest $15 to be able to make thousands of dollars off of your investments. So, yeah, it's just a no-brainer. But good. I mean, that was a great recap, Bauer. So we'll start doing this every single Monday. Come on, just see what the hell's going on with the charts, the markets, get the people the juice. But outside of that, I'm good to go. You got anything else?
Oh, all good. Yeah, I mean, we talked on Saturday about quite a bit, so I think next Monday we'll have a lot more first week of Uptober to talk about. Be a lot more to go over. So be a good one.
I'm excited, brother.
Hopefully we'll be $10,000, $15,000 richer, $20,000 richer by next Monday. So
Yeah, you'll be
see.
able to tell off of our facial expressions on Monday how
Yeah.
how the markets are doing.